Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little video for you. This is just a roundup of all the day's latest Manchester United news and a little bit of a chat, discussion, debate with you legends in regards to what could be happening in the summer with Manchester United striker situation and just the latest transfer news and all the goings on at the club. I hope you're all doing well tonight, guys. Thank you very much for joining us for the stream. Do us a favour at the start of this show if you're in here watching live and hit the like button. Give it a massive thumbs up. Share it around on social media if you want to do that as well. That helps us spread the word. You can retweet the tweet at the top of the live chat there. I've pinned it up there. Go over there. Give us a follow on Twitter. And also give us a cheeky little retweet. I'll shout everybody out later on in the show who does help us spread the word of the show by retweeting. But yes, get in there. Hope you're all doing well tonight, guys. Thank you for joining the show. We're here to discuss the latest United news. And we're going to go in there raw. So thanks for getting in, guys. Let me just do a few shout-outs, say hello to everybody who's in here. Let's have a look who we've got in here. We've got Gaming Simp, what's going on, my son? And Berber, double legend in here. What's happening, my man? Avenger Mast, how you doing? Thank you for smashing the like button. Abjif, Dutch Christ, Hoodstar, FJT, Must Play, how you doing? The Cake Cadet, let's go. We've also got Sonic Asylum in here, Garnacho and Cheese, John Adair, Duncan Belifo, Mace Windex, Nigel, Aaron, Dean, what's happening, guys? The Hoop Man, how are you? Pete Morris, Johnny, Simon Warner, John Adair, Chloe Jenkins, welcome in. Nick Pendragon, good day from down under. Dean and Sphinxer and Philip Chapman and Chrissy J. And everybody else, Madhouse as well. Thank you for getting in here for the show, guys. So yes, as I say, hit the likes. Get yourself subscribed, of course, if you're new to this channel, if it's your first time here, or if you're catching up later on playback. Hit the subscribe button. That way you won't miss a thing. And click the bell icon for notifications. Nice one. Right, so bit of an interesting day in terms of news. There's a couple of things we'll get into later, and just small pieces of information which we'll talk about. The biggest talking or topic point, I suppose, at the moment is in regards to what we are going to do in the summer with regards to Manchester United's forwards. We've only got Tony Martial, we've got Wout Weghorst at the moment. Rashford has been playing at striker sometimes, but probably his best position is out on the left wing. Sky Sports and loads of different outlets running with the story today in regards to Harry Kane and Spurs, suggesting that Spurs will not want to let Harry Kane go in the summer at all, and then they're not entertaining any ideas of selling him. So that is basically the biggest story on Sky Sports in regards to potential strikers that United could sign here today. They say Tottenham are unwilling to sell Harry Kane this summer, regardless of where they finish in the Premier League. Okay, but to be fair, it doesn't really matter what Spurs think, right? This is my honest opinion. Yes, they do have him contractually signed up for another year or so. The summer of 2024 is when his contract expires. That's not very long. That's not that long, is it, guys? Which means that, yeah, they can keep hold of this guy. They can fill the contractual obligation to him and make him fulfill his contractual obligation to them. However, what that will mean is, in a year or so's time, when Harry Kane is still 30, he's still not over the hill just yet, in a year's time he could leave them for nothing. That's just dumb by Spurs. If they're going to do that, that's absolutely ridiculous and dumb. So there's lots of outlets reporting that Spurs will be unwilling to sell Harry Kane. That's bullshit, guys. If the amount of money is put on the table that satisfies them for a player that only does have a year left on the contract, and that said player does in fact want to leave them in the summertime, then they would be absolute fools to keep hold of him, wouldn't they? And let his contract run down potentially in the future. So that may be the big story that a lot of outlets are running with, but I don't buy it. It doesn't really mean much to me because he's got just over a year left on his contract. There's reports coming out elsewhere. ESPN are reporting that United will not risk a protracted pursuit of Harry Kane in the summer with the prospect of dealing with Daniel Levy. He is a shithouse toss piece to deal with, to be fair. One thing you say about Daniel Levy is he doesn't let players go easy. They do generally get what they want in terms of the huge amount of money, for the transfer fee in order to convince them to sell. They don't sell players easily. That's a fair point, and it would probably be a bit of a drawn out process in order to get Harry Kane. There are other options, as we will discuss in a moment. But for me, I don't really understand this whole Spurs will be unwilling to sell. Man, Harry Kane has wanted to leave Spurs for several seasons now, if we're being honest. He's never going to win a trophy at Spurs because they are the perennial bottle merchant club. This is what they do. You know, they don't win trophies. Harry Kane's too good of a player to end his career having not won a damn thing. You know, so I'm pretty sure he's just going to eventually have to look at doing an RVP. He's going to have to do a Robin van Persie. If he wants to win a Premier League title, if he wants to win a Champions League or something major, he's going to have to get out of that sinking ship. Not even a sinking ship, is it? It's a sunken ship. It's just a ship that's always been sunk. It's like the fucking Queen Mary or something. It is a sunken ship. And so, therefore, I don't really see why he would want to stay in that sunken ship, constantly trying to bail the team out, bailing out water from said sunken ship, which is going to sink again. It's foolish. So, from Harry Kane's point of view, unless he absolutely wants to just love Spurs that much, that he wants to stay there and not win any trophies, I think he would be open to leaving in the summer, even if Spurs do get top four. They're still not going to win any damn trophies, are they? That's the one I meant, the Mary Rose. Not the Queen Mary, the other one. The sunken one. You know the one I meant. But either way, the point I'm making is, it's a fucking sunken ship. And, you know, that's the point of the situation here, is that Harry Kane is not really going to win anything at Spurs. We saw last summer, just 1 year ago, less than a year ago, in fact, 7 months ago, whatever it was, that he didn't want to stay at Tottenham. There were so many different reports that he was unhappy. He would have been open to a move away, surely. And it's just the fact that Spurs stuck to their guns and didn't allow him to go anywhere, which made it very difficult for him to go. Of course, if nobody's going to be prepared to pay huge amounts of money to convince them, then he's going to have to stay, isn't he, at the time? It was reported that Manchester City were prepared to pay 100 million before Haaland came in, obviously. That turned out to be not enough money for Spurs. But the situation's changing. Spurs will have gone another year in the summer melting. They will have not won any trophies. They would have not fulfilled any obligation they got to Harry Kane to maybe win a trophy or have some sort of success. And therefore, surely he's only going to get more jaded, more unsettled at the football club, because he is somebody that has a bit of ambition, it seems, because last summer he wanted to leave them. And if there is a big club that comes a-knocking, his head's going to be easily turned, in my opinion. It's Spurs. They don't win things. He's got a finite time left in his career now. People are talking about Harry Kane like he's some old-age pensioner. He's fucking 29. His best years should be the next few seasons, as in terms of a forward, in terms of having that experience, but still physically being at the races. The next few seasons should be the best for Harry Kane in a lot of ways. So I don't really buy that whole he's too old, he's too over the hill sort of narrative, because I think that should be his best time. It does work differently for every different player, to be fair. You know, Rooney was shot at 31. Like, that's in regards to what he used to be. Like, physicality, Michael Owen was shot as well. He was an injury-prone melter. Harry Kane's a bit injury-prone, but not as injury-prone as Michael Owen. So he's still got a lot of gas left in the tank, if you ask me. We've got a super chat here, by the way, from Abjif. Thank you so much. He says, we'll play Champions League next season. Old Kane, get Vlahovic. Interesting comment there, Abjif. Thank you so much. By the way, we've got a poll running at the moment at the top of the live chat. Do have a little vote on the poll. Who would you rather United sign? Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, or other? Thank you, Abjif. Let's get a heart in the chat for his super chat there. Thank you, bro. So, you know, to be fair, guys, everyone's writing off this Kane move, it seems. We've got another report here from David Ornstein that suggests that it would likely take an astronomical fee for any club to sign Harry Kane this summer. Tottenham are totally focused on securing his long-term future of the club. His current deal runs out in 2024. Well, sorry to say, if he wants to go and a club comes in with a decent offer, they would be absolute fools to keep on of him and potentially let him go in just over a year's time for free. That's the reality. So you can easily convince Spurs to sell him at this juncture, I think, if they don't get what they need to have in order to convince Kane to stay, i.e. they don't win anything, maybe they don't get top four. Even having top four doesn't really convince me that Kane will want to be there next season, because of the reason I mentioned, he's just getting older. He doesn't have too long left at the top. If he's going to go somewhere and win some things and have some trophies in his cabinet by the end of his career, he's going to have to do it now. He's stayed at Spurs a very long time. He scored a lot of goals at Spurs. He's a club legend. I'm sure he loves Spurs. But ultimately, they can't provide him what he needs. Otherwise, he's going to end up like another Stevie Gerrard type melter, who just finishes without a Premier League title, you know, or and even worse, in fact, because at least Gerrard won some things with Liverpool. At least he did win a Champions League, etc. Man, Spurs don't win jack shit. So he would be foolish to want to stay there for any longer than the end of this season, if you ask me. So there's lots of people reporting that it's too much money, Spurs don't want to sell, yada, 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 all the rest of it. Bullshit, in my opinion. You could go and get him in the summer if he's prepared to stick to his guns and say, I don't want to be here for the start of the season. I don't want to stay. If he's really going to stick to those guns, then they would take 70 million quid for him. That's still a shitload of money for a player like Harry Kane, to be fair, who's getting on a little bit, who's a little bit injury prone, who's only got a few seasons left at the top. But it's not 100 million. It's not 100 million pounds. That is too much money. 70 million pounds is a reasonable amount of money, in my humble opinion, to go and pay for somebody who's proven to bang you 20 plus goals a season. What's this? We've got a new member of the channel here. Dudes, we got a new member of the channel. Thank you for becoming a member. Wessex Mercier, once again, lad, has become a member of the channel. Hang on, that says something else. Wessex Mercier, can we welcome Wessex Mercier to the channel membership, man? Thank you very much for becoming a member. Oh, and Gangshi, you legend, has gifted 5 memberships on the channel. You handsome bastard, Gangshi. Thank you so much, mate. That is the opposite of gashtastic, mate. You're an absolute legend. Dudes, can we please just get some love hearts in there for Wessex Mercier and for Gangshi, who's gifted 5 members on the channel. Thank you so much. John Adair was gifted it, and FJT Dilvani, Ryan Johnson, and also Wizzy Sam were gifted memberships by Gangshi. Thank you so much, Don Gangshi. You're an absolute hero, my lad. Dudes, what a legend the man is. Gangshi, thank you for making 5 people's dreams come true there, you absolute legend. Appreciate it. He says, hello, fellow bacon ears. I hope you're doing well tonight, Gangshi. Thank you so much for that. Shazad Ahmed, what's going on, you unadulterated hero? Good to see you as well. I hope you're having a good one. I haven't seen you for a bit of time, but I hope you're doing well, Shazad, lad. Thank you so much for that. By the way, we got a highlighted comment before we get back into the Kane chat. Thank you, Gangshi. Thank you, Wessex Mercier. Before we get back into the Kane chat, Vincent Bullock's got his highlighted comment in there. He's been a member 6 months. Let's get a 6 in. He says, a Liverpool fan asked me where the best place for holiday. I said you can't beat Bournemouth anyway. Pig, hope you're all good, mate. Thank you for regurgitating that joke that's going all around Twitter there, Vincent Bullock, and taking claim for it yourself by the looks of it. At least credit who came up with it. It wasn't you. I'm just kidding, Vincent. Thank you so much, bud, for getting in here with your highlighted comment, and thank you for being a member 6 months. I really appreciate it, Vincent Bullock, lad. Top man. Okay, guys, so yes, over 100 legends in here. Keep smashing the likes. We're almost at 100 likes, and let's get back into the Kane chat. But thank you to all the members there. Thank you to all the new members. Thanks to Gangshi. Absolute legends. Absolute legends. Where was I? Right, so yes, loads of people saying it would take a huge amount of money to get Kane. Well, more fool Spurs then. If they want to stick to their guns and keep hold of, if they want to keep hold of Harry Kane and let him weed out his contract, I believe they're foolish to do that. If Harry Kane wants to sign a new long-term deal at Spurs, then more fool him for being an absolute unambitious, foolish, Rodney Trotter-looking melt. You know, that doesn't really, I just don't really think that's going to happen. We saw how unhappy he was last summer. He had to stay in the end, and he had to commit to them for the season because they weren't going to accept an offer from elsewhere. That may well happen again. I'm not completely saying, oh, they're definitely going anywhere. It depends if the threshold is met from Spurs. If the amount of money on the table offered by any club is satisfactory to them, i.e. for a player who's pushing 30, for a player who wants away maybe in the summer, for a player who only has a year left on his contract in the summer as well, then I think they will sell. That's my opinion. Let's have a look at, let's have a vote in the live chat though, because this is Spurs we're talking about. This is Daniel Levy we're talking about. And they don't sell unless they get what they want. But I think the contract, the situation as it is, it's the most likely time ever we see Harry Kane move clubs this summer. That's what I think. But let's ask the live chat, guys. Do Tottenham keep or sell Harry Kane in the summer? Let's just have a vote on that. Do you think they will want to keep him regardless and let his contract run out, or maybe try and break the bank and give him a long-term deal? Or do you think they will sell him and cash in, bearing in mind that he probably will want away by then, and he's probably going to be, going for nothing in a year's time if he's not prepared to sign a new contract? Yeah, thank you, Abjus. Says, get anyone but Gonçalo Ramos leaked video exposes him. Oh, crikey, I haven't seen that, to be fair there. Interesting, Abjus. Thank you for your comment here, bud. So the votes are in. Thank you, Abjif. Let's get a sue in there for him. Outlaw Torn says they'll sell. Madhouse says they'll keep him. Simon says they'll keep him. Chloe says they'll keep him. And Abjif and Pete Morris and Duncan and Dublin Games. Philip Chapman says they'll sell. Mr. Leo G says they'll keep. They're keeping, says Rajak. Keep, says I am the truth. Fair enough. I mean, I completely disagree with all of you. I must say, I think that if there's a decent offer on the table, not a cheap offer, but 70 million quid, 80 million quid, they will snatch your hand off. Because this guy won't want to be there much longer. His career's running down. He's only got a few years left at the top, as I say. So once that's over, he's going to look back on his playing days with what in the cabinet? What's going to be in his cabinet, mate? A bottle of port covered in dust. He's not going to have any trophies, is he? It's a shame, man. He's too good of a player to not win something. So for that reason, I think that they'll sell him this summer for a big amount of money, probably slightly too much, that he's actually worth, based on his age and some injury factors and that kind of thing. But I think they'll sell him this summer if there's a good enough offer that comes in. But it's a big if, isn't it? It's a big if, because Spurs don't like selling players. And will they let him go to a rival? It's a big question. Man United's point of view is, we need a goal scorer. We need somebody that's proven. We need somebody that's not a complete melter up the top. Harry Kane may be a melter because he's part of Spurs, but nobody can doubt his goal-scoring credentials within the Premier League. I mean, people don't want him for some reason. I can't really understand why nobody wants Harry Kane at Manchester United, or some people do. But a lot of people don't want Harry Kane at United, and I, for the life of me, can't understand why. If you're giving me an honest toss-up now between Victor Osimhen, who's 24 and is banging the goals in Serie A and is definitely a great talent, he's young and he's got a great future, all the rest of it, and you're giving me the chance to sign Harry Kane, I'm taking Kane every single day of the week and twice on Sundays, because he's proven to do it in the Prem, even this season. Last season, when Spurs were proper shite, he's proven... he's proven to do it in the Premier League. I mean, just have a look at the goal-scoring table this season. Yes, okay, Erling Haaland's at the top of the table, doing unbelievable things for City. But Harry Kane still bagged in 20 goals this season in the Premier League. Still smashed in 20 goals. That's what he does. He scores 20-plus goals a season. Just go back for the last 5-6 seasons. That's what he does, proven in the Premier League. So, as far as I'm concerned, he might be 5 years older than Osimhen. He might have a lot less legs in terms of his future. He might be injury prone. He may resemble Del Boy's brother. But whatever it is, I don't care about that. He's a proven Premier League seasoned goal scorer who is going to get you goals. And he is essentially a huge piece of the puzzle that we've currently got missing right now at United. If we actually had a proper 20-plus a season man to bag in loads of goals for us, we would pretty much be unstoppable, I believe. The rest of the team is coming along nicely. We've still got to improve the midfield. We've got depth issues in most positions. But the actual starting 11's coming along when everyone's fit. If you add Harry Kane into the mix, suddenly we've got goals. And not only goals, he's also able to create. He's also a good, generally a good footballer. He's got a good brain on him, etc. So, I mean, I must admit, I don't understand where all this Harry Kane sort of hate comes from, apart from the fact he is a Spurs twat. You know what I mean? I get that. I get not wanting to have a spud in the team. But it didn't hurt us when we had Dimitar Berbatov, did it? Or Michael Carrick, these guys coming over from Spurs. No. It was fucking awesome when we had those guys coming over from Spurs. I feel like he could have a similar impact to Robin Van Persie for us, where it's just like a missing piece of the puzzle. He can bang us loads of goals and potentially fire us to a title. That's where I'm at with Harry Kane. So I don't buy all this business. He won't be going anywhere. I don't buy this business. Spurs will be unwilling to sell. There's a bunch of different factors. Spurs don't want to sell, but there's a bunch of different factors. Yes, okay. Will they keep him with a long-term contract? Will he stay out of sheer loyalty? That's a factor. Will they prefer to just let his contract run out? If not, that's a factor. But realistically, this is their last chance to get a huge payday for Harry Kane. He either stays and retires at Spurs a complete loser, having never won a damn thing. In my opinion, they won't do anything over the next few seasons because they're Spurs. Or he leaves now, they get a massive payday, and he goes on and has a few years of success with a proper team, such as Manchester United. That's sort of where I'm at now. So that's what I think. 0793, how you doing? And everybody else in here, Raja, Abdi, Mr. Logi, thanks for getting in. We're going to have a big Q&A at the end of the stream, as we always do, guys, so make sure you stick around until then. I just want to get this off my chest first, give you my thoughts and opinions, and we will be ducking in and out of the live chat to see what you legends are saying about the whole ordeal. But to me, you can't deny his goal-scoring prowess. Victor Osimhen is another option, of course. Do have a vote in the live chat there. At the moment, we've had 155 votes. 25% of the live chat want Harry Kane. 65% of the live chat want Victor Osimhen. And 10% want another player. 65% want Victor Osimhen. Wow, wee wah. That is a big, big majority. And once again, I'm in the minority here because I would prefer Kane all day long because of that Premier League prowess. In regards to Victor Osimhen, he's focusing on the next step. There's reports that a lot of different teams are interested in him. His transfer fee will be similar to that of Harry Kane as well. He does have lots of longevity in his game. That's what's going for Victor Osimhen. The longevity is definitely there. But if you're talking about goal scoring prowess, is that there to the same degree of Harry Kane? Let's just look at the statistics real quick. And it is for this season, I must say, it is for this season. If you check out Victor Osimhen's stats, I mean, on an international stage as well, for Nigeria, he's banged in 15 goals in 23. That's very impressive, up against Harry Kane's stats of 53 and 80 for England. Victor Osimhen, 24 years of age. Harry Kane, 29 years of age. In regards to the goal-scoring prowess this season shown by Victor Osimhen, he has got himself 19 goals in 22 Serie A appearances with 5 assists. Those are some fantastic stats, no doubt about it. He's doing it in Piggin Serie A, though. And that doesn't impress me as much as doing it in the Premier League for Spurs. You know, doing it in the Premier League's one thing. Doing it for Spurs is another thing. That's what's so impressive about Harry Kane's statistics. Harry Kane has 20 goals in 27 appearances in the Premier League this season with 2 assists. Pretty incredible statistics no matter who you are, really. And if you go back for the seasons as well, which I like to do, Victor Osimhen's coming to the best years of his career now. He's developing. Maybe it's unfair to compare the last 2 or 3 seasons to the last 2 or 3 of Harry Kane because Harry Kane's been in his prime. But last season, Victor Osimhen, 14 in 27 in Serie A. The season before, 10 in 24. The season before over in League One for LOSC, 13 in 27. He's still in his 20s there. So not as prolific as this season. This season, he is undeniably fantastic in Serie A. No doubt about it. Harry Kane's statistics, going back through the seasons. Last season, 17 with 9 assists in 37. Bit of a shitter of a season for Harry Kane comparatively. The season before, 23 Premier League goals in 35 Premier League appearances with 14 assists. That's a contribution of 37 goals in 35 that season. Season before, 18 in 29, 2 assists. Problem is, he does have injuries throughout the season usually. He does need to be managed in that sense. He's not going to be fit all the time. Season before that, 18 in 29. Season before that, 17 in 28. Season before that, this is the 17-18 season now, 30 and 37. Season before that, 29 and 30. Season before that, 25 and 38. Season before that, 21 and 34. And these are just Premier League appearances. These are not including all other competitions. This is just Premier League appearances. Nobody can deny Kane's goal-scoring prowess. He is a Premier League proven goal scorer and he will continue to be a Premier League proven goal scorer. He's doing it this season, he'll do it next season, and he'll do it the season after. He may well start winding down when he gets to 33, 34, 35, but I don't think you've got to worry about that as a 29-year-old player. So this is why I would prefer Harry Kane over Victor Osimhen, because he does it in the league that we are currently playing in. That counts for something. Osimhen is obviously clearly a fantastic player. He's got that pace. You know, he's a bit more versatile maybe, in the sense that if you need to, I guess you could bang him in a 4-3-3 in a wide area if you absolutely needed to. You wouldn't though, because he's a striker, but you could. But either way, he's just not as exciting to me as getting in Kane. The reason is I just feel like you've got a puzzle piece missing. Kane is that 100% shiny puzzle piece right there that fits perfectly into what we need to do. Osimhen is slightly more of a gamble, although he does have a lot more longevity in his career and he's clearly a fantastic player and he clearly has impressive stats. But there you go. That's my reasoning behind my opinions and thoughts on it. I've wanted Kane at United for a while. I feel like he would have been a very good acquisition for us years ago. Tottenham are very difficult to deal with. They have been trying to progress as a team for many seasons now, and they don't want to sell their best players. You've got to respect that. But this is a man whose contract now is running down. It ends in the summer of 2024. Plus, Osimhen's going to cost, if anything, slightly more money, or at least a comparative amount of money, similar amount of money. You're talking 100 million euros or somewhere in that region. He's going to not be cheap at all. And so it's just as unlikely as the Kane deal. because it's a huge amount of money. We'll see. If we've got new owners coming in who are prepared to spend big money in the summer, we could go and get both of these guys. Who knows? But certainly Harry Kane is the one that does it for me, man. Because of the reasons I've just mentioned. I know that's not the popular opinion. Most people don't think that way. Most people, like we just had a look in the live chat, 65% of people want to see Victor Osimhen in the red shirt. And I would like that too. There's no denying he's a great player, but I just really like Harry Kane. I've always rated him. I've always rated his versatility in terms of being able to create as well as attack. The only thing that is going against him is that he's just a complete spud. That's the only thing that's going against him, really. And maybe his voice. Because when he's Harry Kane, obviously just, want to win a trophy or whatever. It's a bit annoying. But I don't care about his voice when he's on the pitch, man. And when if he was playing for Manchester United, scoring us 20-plus goals a season in the league, I wouldn't care about that. So we can't go and get Erling Haaland. People are like, oh yeah, but nobody's as good as Erling Haaland. Well, City are a very formidable team, and he's played at the top of their team, and his statistics are ridiculous. I mean, I don't even want to look at how the other game finished, but he'd had a hat-trick by half-time tonight as well in the Champions League. He's going to be something else, isn't he? But if you want to compete with that sort of level with the team, you've got to go and get the next best thing. In my opinion, he would be the next best thing. So, must play says Kane would not score that much for United. Why do you think that then, must play? What's your reasoning behind it? It's an interesting point, but why? Why do you say that? If anything, he would score more, I think. Maybe he would score more. He'd get a few more chances. Manchester United's a better team. Why is that then? That's quite interesting. Okay, so Chloe Jenkins, thank you very much for your super chat. I really appreciate you, Chloe. Comments and says, I would take a shot with young Ferguson, says Chloe Jenkins. Well, thank you for getting your super chat in there, Chloe. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You what? Abjir, thanks for your super chat as well. Says, we see youngsters doing well with Ten Hag. Why Kane? Do you really want me to explain again? I've just mentioned the reason. I've gone through his stats. I've gone through the last few seasons. Not even the last few seasons. The last fucking 10 seasons. He is a seasoned Premier League goal scorer. It's like saying at the time, why to Alex Ferguson, hey Alex Ferguson, why do you want Robin Van Persie in your team? Obviously, Robin Van Persie was fucking awesome, but it's like, why do you want him? Because he's guaranteed to get you goals, mate. That's why we would want him. That's why Ten Hag would want him, because he's a proven goal scorer in the league. He could be the difference for you finishing third, which is what we're going to do this season, and finishing first. I really do believe that. We've got the foundation of a fantastic team now. The back line is more or less there. Yeah, you could improve in one or two areas, I suppose. Maybe go and get a world-class right back, because as much as I love Aaron Wan-Bissaka defensively, as much as I think Dallow's had a good season overall, I don't think either of them are truly world-class, are they? If you went and gone and got a proper world-class right back, maybe we can improve that position. But other than that, I wouldn't really touch the back line too much. Varane's a beast. Martinez is a beast. Luke Shaw is a pie lover, but he's good. He's good. He's good. Maybe he's not elite, but he's very, very good. And then in terms of Malacia, he's got a great future. He's a good deputy to Luke Shaw on that side. So the defence is great. The midfield, on paper, needs some work. We've got Casemiro, the best CDM in world football. Unbelievable. You've got Eriksen, who when fit is a fantastic partner for him. And with those two in midfield, we're pretty much sorted. However, you can go one step further and improve even more so and go and get something like a Bellingham, or just somebody who's got an ambitious midfield signing that's going to improve Manchester United and help us for many years to come. We could go and do that as well. And that gives us instant depth in the midfield. We will probably see the likes of McTominay maybe part ways. By the way, McTominay's had 200 appearances for Manchester United. Name me a shitter player that's had 200 appearances for Manchester United. It's a tough one. Honestly, he's bloody bang average, isn't he? He should have had 200 appearances for Dagenham and Redbridge, mate. That's fucking what he should have done, mate. But either way, he's absolutely garbage, in my opinion. But he is here still, and he's had 200 appearances. It's bizarre. But, the midfield needs a bit of work, yes. The forward line, we've got talents throughout the whole forward line. Alejandro Garnacho, one for the future. Facundo Pellistri, one for the future. Marcus Rashford, playing left wing. I think would be absolutely formidable for us going forward in the future based on this season. The right side of the pitch, we've got Anthony, who Ten Hag's going to show a lot of faith in, and I still have a lot of faith in. He's a bit of a selfish, greedy man, but I think he's got raw talent and he's going to be class. Sancho still has a lot to prove and a lot to do in the side, but I think he's fundamentally got a heck load of talent as well. It's really just the striker position, the tip of the trident of penetration up the top there that is blunt. That is what is the biggest concern for me. And if we did go and get somebody like Kane, who's proven to score, then that would solve a lot of the problems in the side. We would have goals coming from that position as well as the other two wide positions as well. That's going to be a game changer for us. So that's my logic behind it. Guys, we're nearly at 100 likes. Keep hitting the like button. Let's have a like spike and see if we can get to 100 likes real quick. It boosts the channel up there and helps us out if you hit the like. It's free, so make sure you take a second and drop a thumbs up on it. That's all we ask. And also give it a share around if you want on social media. The Twitter's pinned to the top of the chat. Nice one. Must places, Kane isn't a winner. Okay, but you know why he's not a winner? Shall I tell you why he's not a winner? Because he plays for Tottenham, man. You know, that's the only reason. He is hindered. He's like, you know, when you're like down at like the first score or something, then there's always a kid who's like twice as developed as everybody else, who's like way taller and stronger. And then you know, and the teacher always makes two teams to play football, and he makes one team really a lot stronger than the other team. Basically puts the really good player with the bunch of shite players in order to even things out. And the good player has to carry the rest of the shite team. That's basically what Harry Kane and Son have been doing for years, man. You know, so that's really where his problem is that he plays for Tottenham. I don't think he is a loser. I think he would be a great player for a great team who's prepared to, like, actually, who's got a good enough squad to win things. Tottenham just don't. Tottenham are perennial bottle jobs. So they're always going to struggle to compete with the money teams as well now. Cities and Chelsea's even, not this season, but Chelsea even. Liverpool. Look at Arsenal now spending loads of money and doing well. Manchester United with potential new owners. They're always going to struggle against those teams. It's not like they're just going to have a miraculous season and break through and suddenly win things. I don't think it's his fault why Spurs have not won anything. In fact, far from it. He has carried Spurs for a number of years. Him and Son and a handful of players, Lloris. You know, they've carried Spurs for a number of years. And that's the reason why they haven't, you know, they just don't have as good enough squad compared to the other top teams, really. Kane wins golden boots. Exactly, fire up. Kane wins golden boots, man. He's a proven goal scorer. He's going to get you a lot of goals as they... There you go. Hey, City 10, no worries. Thanks for getting in here. Welcome in. First class gamer says, can't slag off Kane. If it wasn't for him, Spurs would be 8th every season. That's exactly the point I'm making as well, first class. Thank you for getting in, bud. And as an Arsenal scummer, you're completely impartial to say that, and it's true. I do believe he helps them out massively. It's not like you can blame Harry Kane for Spurs' bottle jobbing over the years. You can't blame Kane at all. Dante says Kane does have a habit of going missing when it matters. Euro final, Champions League final, League Cup final, FA Cup semis. I mean, an interesting point, Dante. It's a fair point. Is it him going missing, or is it the rest of the team and everybody going missing? Is it the English curse? I don't know. It's a fair point you make, but there's loads of examples of Harry Kane just firing Spurs into, you know, important matches and doing well. Okay, Champions League final, they bottled it. I don't feel like he bottled it any more than any other player did, though. If we actually look at his European record, it's not as impressive as his Premier League record, in all fairness. But again, he's playing for Spurs in the Champions League. So it's going to be more difficult, isn't it? They're coming up against the very best teams in the world. And he is a Spurs bottle job. So there you go. That's why it's difficult for him. But it's a good point you make. I mean, I don't think he's devoid of bottling it himself. Every player is, though. There's been plenty of examples where, you know, players of Manchester United players have gone missing in an important game. It happens. And the fact is, Spurs haven't had that many important games, have they? One Champions League final, you know, and that's about it. You know, like, they don't really have that many important games. So, yes, I just don't really... I mean, it's a fair point, though. I don't really think he's going to be a bad signing for anybody if there's a top team that wants to go and get him because of his proven goal-scoring record. My humble opinion. Victor Osimhen's also a great signing. Don't get me wrong. Victor Osimhen would be a great signing for Manchester United. He's 24. His goal record is also ridiculous this season in Serie A. But there is an asterisk there. He is doing it in Serie A. And so it's a slight unknown entity coming into the Premier League in order to try and replicate that in this league that he's never played in. So it's going to be it would be difficult for him coming in. You've seen some players be able to do it, and you've seen a lot of players fail. A lot of players come over from different teams. I'm just trying to think of an example. Timo Werner scoring a shitload of goals in the league he came from, couldn't do it in the Prem. Erling Haaland, though, came from the same league as Timo Werner, and he can do it. So there's no exact science to whether or not a player is going to replicate the form showed in their league. It's just down to the player, it's down to the team, it's down to the coach, and there's a lot of different factors. Victor Osimhen certainly could come in and score 20-plus goals a season in the Premier League. He certainly could. Or he could struggle to get 15. You know, he could struggle to get 12. It's an unknown entity is all I'm saying. It's a totally different footballing culture over here. Serie A, to get a lot more time on the ball. It's not nowhere near as strong as a league as it was back in the day. In the 90s, it was the best of the world. Now, it's shit. So it's really, really difficult to say that he's going to come and be able to smash them in against the best Premier League defences and the league being as strong as it is throughout. So, you know, in my humble opinion, he's a good signing. It'd be a great signing, in fact. But if you want somebody proven in the Prem, then go and get Kane. Let's just ask the live chat. So there's a lot of people voted, 217 votes, 25% say Harry Kane, 66% say Osimhen. Who do you want in the chat, guys? Let's just ask the chat here who's in here right now, not the people who've come in and gone, because there's 220 votes, only 95 likes and 140 people watching. You what? How does that work? A lot of people have pissed off. But either way, let's see what you guys are saying. Let us know. Harry Kane says Wiggy. Don't know if I'm going to do FIFA tonight, actually, on the Head Football Live. I feel a bit gash today. Please don't Arcane, says Patrick Vargas. Both, says Madhouse. Never Kane, says Abjif. Put Rashford up front. We have a lot of quality wingers. Well, fair enough, Samuel Keeley, but Rashford's best position is left wing, in my opinion. He's not a natural striker. He is scoring a load of goals this season, but in my opinion, he's best off at left wing still. So you would be hurting yourself, I think, in the long run if you did that. Victor Osimhen says MUFC. Jedi Stew says Kane. Leon says Kane. Ramos says Haribo. Osimhen all day says Lewis Eraser. Aaron says Kane. Philip Chapman says Kane. Ramos says Chloe Jenkins. Victor Osimhen says Tony Devils Red Hodgson. Shazad Ahmed's going Osimhen, Vlahovic or Ramos. Interesting, Shazad. Osimhen and Sesko, says Panda. Victor Osimhen, says Brian King. Yeah, so clearly I think most people want Victor Osimhen. I understand it. He's younger. He's got great pace. He's should be hungry. And he's got longevity in the game. Like, if Ten Hag's trying to build something long-term, maybe that sort of player fits in to more what we're trying to do. And Ten Hag likes working with younger players. He can develop them. He can coach them. Kane is, you know, sort of going to be one of those players that's, I wouldn't say set in their ways, but it's going to be harder to, you know, it's going to be harder for him to adapt maybe to different systems and things like that. He has been playing with the same old gash team for a number of years now, so, and he's older. So for that reason, I do get why Victor Osimhen's very appealing. And the fact of the matter is this, guys. I would be absolutely over the moon if we got either of them. Doesn't really matter to me. They provide you different things. Osimhen's going to be, you know, real pacey, getting in behind on the last man, you know, like stretching opposition defences, lethal on the counter, these sorts of things. He's going to be very, very good. Harry Kane, he's slower, but he's got a great footballing brain. He's a great passer of the ball. He's got great vision. They're different players entirely, but they're also both very, very effective. So depending on what Ten Hag's looking for, let's let Ten Hag do what Ten Hag wants. We trust Ten Hag. He's done a brilliant job this season, and you've got to allow him to shape the team in whichever way he sees fit. If he decides that Harry Kane's on the market and we can actually go and convince Spurs to sell and he wants to get him, I will trust Ten Hag to the hilt. If he decides that Osimhen's the way to go and we've spent 100 million euros on him, I would trust him to the hilt. And if he gets somebody else entirely, I would trust him as well, because I do believe that fundamentally there's signings that he's made so far this season. You can't really fault them. You can say we spent too much on Anthony, but you can't deny his talent and his age, and he's got so much development left. Martinez is just like the next Vidic. Casemiro, such a player that we've been missing for years since Michael Carrick or Roy Keane. He's that type of important player for us. And all the other signers, Malassi has got bags of potential. And so I don't fault anything at all that Ten Hag has done so far. That's the reason I just say back him, let him sign who he wants. If he thinks that Kane's going to give us really, really good options and give him what he wants for the next season and is proven in the Prem, that's fine. And the same goes for Victor Osimhen as well. Let's get a little hashtag in Ten Hag we trust. Because, you know, I do think that we just got to back the manager and whatever he decides and sees fit. And plus, it's not even all about that either, is it? It's also about who's actually obtainable. We have talked about Spurs and the problems that we could face trying to actually sign Kane, because they don't really like to sell for anything less than an extortionate amount of money. They have a figure in their mind, and unless that figure's met, they won't sell him. They probably will just let him fester away and just go in a year's time after getting more goals out of him. But it seems crazy to think that they would do that, to be fair. But they probably would, because that's Spurs for you. But it's madness to think that they would turn down, say, a £70 million offer for a player who's pushing 30, whose contract runs down in a year. I believe in the summer he will be available for purchase, if you want to pay for him. Yeah, Dutch guys, that's true. Kane wants to break the Premier League goal scoring record. Exactly. Surely he's thinking about that, isn't he? He's got to get 260 goals to beat Shearer. He's only going to do that if he stays in the Premier League. There's also reports saying, there may be teams abroad in Spain or wherever interested in Harry Kane. Fine. But like you just said, Dutch Cross, I think that is a factor. He's a Premier League player. And he's also good enough to win a Premier League medal, like a player who scored the amount of goals in the Premier League that he has over the years. He deserves to have won the Premier League. He really does. So I think he's got unfinished business in this league. He's not going to go to City, is he? There was talks a year ago before Haaland came in that he would be going to City. There was even reports they put in a £100 million bid that was rejected. That's not going to happen now. Because for a start, they've got Erling Haaland. He's just not going to go and play second fiddle. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. I can't see him going to any of the other teams. Chelsea just got, obviously, Christopher Nkunku. And they're signing loads of other players as well. That's not going to happen either. He's not going to go to a rival London club either, I don't think. I just don't think that would ever happen. From his own stance, his own point of not being hated by the fan base. If he goes to United, the Spurs fan base will definitely not like him. But it's not quite the same as going to a London club. So I think if he's going to go anywhere in the Premier League, it will be Manchester United. We actually need him more than anyone else as well, in terms of the striking options that we have. We actually need him more than anyone else. Rocky Esposito says Levy will turn down $70 million, though. We're not talking about dollars, though. We're talking about pounds. No, even if he turns down £70 million, Rocky Esposito, though, then, well, sometimes you've got to pay to get your man. People are talking about Harry Kane. Say he costs £80 million. People are talking about Harry Kane like he's bad value for money. He's not really bad value for money, is he? Even at £80 million. If you sign him up to a 4-year contract, you get him from the age of 30 to 34. And he scores you 20 plus goals a season. Well, you're paying less than £1 million a goal over that 4 years. That's not bad value for money, and he will get you that as well, in my opinion, because he is a proven scorer. People were saying a similar thing about Casemiro when he came in, like he's too old, he's not good enough anymore, or not that he's not good enough anymore, but he's going to diminish in qualities over the next however many seasons. I say it's pish. He's just turned 31. In his role, he can definitely do the business till he's 34. Then yes, maybe we are going to have a conversation about him diminishing in talents. But for the next couple of seasons, Man United are sorted in that CDM role. We had a hole in the boat, we've gone and plugged it. Now we're cruising. Same goes for Harry Kane at the top. He would just plug that problem area that we've got, even if it is only for a few seasons, but he would give us exactly what we want. He would be the forward version of Casemiro for us. Why go and get somebody to develop? Why go and get somebody who's not quite as proven an entity when you can just go and get one of the best players in their position in the world and then sort your team out instantly overnight? That's what we did with Casemiro, and that's what Harry Kane signing would do for us, I think, as well. Abjif says we do have a habit of overhyping English players. They're overhyped, I guess. They're overpriced, but I don't think we can say that Harry Kane's been overhyped over the years. He is a class player. He is a really quality player. Just go and have a look at his statistics. You can't overhype those statistics. The stats are the stats. He's a proven player. Right, there you go. Let me catch up with the live chat because there's a lot of passion getting in here tonight. I love it. We've just hit 100 likes on the stream. Thank you, everybody, for hitting that thumbs up button. Please continue to smash the likes if you're just joining. And hit the subscribe button if you want to chat and have your say also. Please do that. Okay, yeah, so it's a hot topic, isn't it? Fundamentally, what it boils down to, though, is that United are desperate for a goal scorer. Whoever that may be, we just need to go and get one and have ambition in the summer and sign a proper baller. Yes, there's factors there. Kane may not be available. He may not be available. Tottenham don't have to sell him. Same goes for Napoli and Victor Osimhen, though. Osimhen's contracted till the summer of 2025. Unless they get their money that they want, which is a reported excess of 100 million euros, then they're not going to want to sell him either. They know what a player they've got on their hands there. He's contributing with assists more than a goal a game in Serie A for them. That's a very important player. They're not just going to let him walk for anything less than a small fortune. So it's the same sort of situation. The only difference is one's 5 years younger and not proven in the Prem. The other's 5 years older, a bit of an injury-prone melter and a spud. But they're both fundamentally great signings for a huge amount of money. So either or, really, for me. I'm happy with either or. Yes. Kane will be our RVP, says Star-Lord. Precisely, Star-Lord. Yes, mate, you think exactly the same as me. It's the same sort of signing, in my opinion. You're getting a player at a ripe age, but he's not too old. He's definitely going to be doing the business for a number of seasons still, and he has that potential to solve your problems and fire you to the title. That's what I'm talking about. Wiggy, thanks for your comment, buddy. Says Lewandowski is still banging them in, and he's 35 this year. Similar profile of player. Precisely. Jamie Vardy scored 15 league goals last season at 35 too. Who heavily relies on his pace, whereas Kane never has. Spot on, Wiggy. Kane's all about his movement, his intelligence, his position, his vision, all that sort of stuff. You're absolutely right. His goal-scoring prowess is undeniable. He's great in the air. He's great all round, really. He's just a good player. The only area that he's not good is his speed. But that's not important for a player like him, as you've just discussed. And if anybody's going to diminish less slow, it's somebody who is not reliant on their pace. I mean, look at Cristiano Ronaldo in the last sort of few months at United. He didn't look physically anywhere as good as he was. Maybe he wasn't trying as hard. I don't know. Last season he was fantastic for us, to be fair. And the season before that he was fantastic in Serie A. And he scored 29 and 31 in Serie A. But there comes a point when these players are going to start to diminish. Zlatan is still able to do it every now and then, isn't he? Players, it's just a number. Age is just a number, really. It depends entirely on the case and the player. Kane is not the most... let's be honest, not the most convincing, though, because he is injury prone. And surely when you get a bit older, like 33, he's probably going to face more injury issues. But he's not 33 right now. He's 29. He's 29. Man, oh man. I want a player who's 29. 29's perfect. 29 is the best age for a forward. 29 is the prime of a forward's career, if you ask me. 27 to 32, maybe, but certainly 29 is a good old age to have somebody who's in the height of their game. I mean, we had Cavani at the club a short while ago doing well for us, and he was in his mid-30s. I don't know why people are talking about Kane like he's some OAP with a walking stick. He's not. He's still reasonably young. Chloe Jenkins, thank you for your super chat here. Let's Be Avenue. Get in there. Let's get a Let's Be Avenue in there for Chloe. Says, reports say Qatar are looking to Malaga. Pissed off with the delay at United. You what? Chloe Jenkins, thanks for getting your £5 super chat in here. I appreciate you. Well, I mean, in regards to that, we got some information on that a little bit later, you know, on in the show. But you know, Qatar, they're in pole position at the moment in order to, you know, in order to still buy Manchester United. Things are progressing there. It's reported anyway that you know, there will be the second stage of talks in regards to purchasing this club will take place next week. That's some reports that have come out that I've heard today. Listen, you've got to take everything with a pinch of salt, just like your comment there, really, to be honest with you, Chloe. It's all just sheer speculation. Until we know about an actual legit progression in this move, or as you say, or you know, or a back step, then it's all just sheer speculation. We need to work this out. You know, we absolutely need to work out what's going on. These guys be like comparing athletes' 30s and themselves sitting on the sofa eating Pringles, says First Class Gamer. Okay, fair enough. Nothing wrong with Pringles, though, is there? You vote Qatar and Osimhen, not Kane or Ratcliffe, says Thomas Board. Fair play. Casemiro, 70 million and 31. So if we could get Kane or similar price, I'd be okay. Exactly. Say similar price as that, I think would be a good purchase for Utilitor. We don't want to pay £100 million for a player who's 30, really. But if it fires us to the title for the next couple of seasons, I'd be happy to do it. Muspraise says, Jonathan Gallagher, if we sell Marcia, then I say buy Kane and Ramos. If not, then Osimhen for me. I don't think Kane is bad. I'm just tired of seeing... Listen, I'm just going to put this out there. Everybody's got their own opinions and they're entitled to them. If you think Harry Kane is not a top footballer, if you think he's not a top striker, not a top goal scorer, then you're a moron. There you go, I said it. You're an absolute idiot if you don't think Kane's a top player. Kane is a top player. I don't like to say this. He's a spud. He's a fucking top player, man. There's no doubts. You can't deny his record. It speaks for itself. Rajat says they are using that as bait to make Glazers sell quick, says Rajat. Well, the Glazers are playing hardball. This is it. You know, look at the shithouse Glazers appearing at the League Cup final, or one of them, I should say, appearing at the League Cup final. And they're trying to make it seem like they're not desperate to sell the club, especially now that we seem to be having some success in getting better. They want to squeeze as much out of a potential new buyer as possible. So they will take a little bit of time. But lots of reports. Plettigol reporting today. Let me just try and find the post. Where is it? Because it popped up earlier on. Here it is. The United plug reporting it anyway. Rob Dawson via ESPN. If I just get it up on the screen, let's have a look. So this is the report that I saw earlier, just in terms of the Glazers sale, just the latest on that. So previously, you know, Qatar in pole position to buy Manchester United, and United plug just reported earlier on via ESPN that the second stage of the sale process could be concluded by the end of this week. I mean, look, it's all speculation and bullshit if you ask me. ESPN reported it doesn't mean jack shit, does it? But that is a fresh report today anyway. The second stage of the sale process could be concluded by the end of the week. What a load of toss. But that's what's being reported. You know, at some point, there's going to be progression on the sale. The Glazers just are businessmen. If they stand to make billions in profit, they will sell. They are trying to squeeze as much out of the deal as possible, though, and so therefore they're in no rush to sell. They're in no rush to sell. Let's get a hashtag Glazers out in the live chat, by the way, because they are scum, aren't they? And they do need to just sell up now. It's actually boring, man. It's actually boring. We just want to progress as a club and move on and get better, you know? That's what we want to do. So, yes, let's get a hashtag Glazers out in there. Taser a Glazer, says Mace Windex. Okay. Right, guys, right. So we've talked about Kane. We've talked about Osimhen. We've talked about the potential of Spurs not wanting to sell. I think the most likely time for them to sell would be this upcoming summer because of the 1 year left on the contract. And if he does want to really... If he really does want to go away from Spurs and try and win something, this summer is the summer, really. Because, you know, in a year or two's time, he's in his 30s. He's not quite as desirable. That's the reality. And so if he wants to win a Premier League trophy or have a really good chance of doing it, he's going to have to move this summer. I think it's possible anyway. It's probably not as likely as Osimhen, but it's still possible. And given the choice, I would take Harry Kane all day long out of the two. Abjad, thank you for the super chat. He says, Piers Morgan once told Kane is way past his prime. Excuse me? Why, excuse me? Why the fuck does it matter what that absolute toad face thinks, man? I mean, are you serious? What does that mean? Why does that have any importance or bearing on anything? You know what I mean? Good almighty. Anyway, thank you, Abjad, for the super chat. I appreciate you, bud. But you what? Why does that even matter, mate? Who cares what that guy thinks, mate? That guy's actually a fool. He just says stuff to get a reaction, man. He's actually a complete moron. So I don't even know why you're sort of quoting him like he's some sort of reputable source. You know? Exactly, First Class Gamer, he says, who cares about Piers Morgan? That guy's a knob. And First Class Gamer is an Arsenal scummer, by the way. So there you go, OHB. We'll probably sign Kane when he's 37, says OHB. Well, no, we don't want him when he's 37, do we? We want him in his prime, and he's still in his prime right now. I want him. I know, look, 65% of the chat want Osimhen, but I want Kane. There's 25% of people that agree with me. It's down to what Ten Hag wants. It's down to what a lot of the hierarchy at United think as well in terms of the value of the deal. Because it's not just about footballing aspects either. It's also other aspects. But to be fair, it's a United type of signing. It's a commercial signing. It fits in with what the shithouse Glazer have done over the years as well, in terms of getting like those big name players who will shift shirts and that kind of thing. And actually, I just really like Harry Kane, like as a footballer. Not off the pitch, I'm not saying that, but I mean like as a player, very intelligent player, I've always rated him. And he's a proven goal scorer. So I'd be pretty happy to get him in now, I must say. Right, we're going to get into a couple of other bits of information that came out in regards to United today for United News. We'll cover it now, just a little few tidbits, not anything that major. But here we go. So, Facundo Pellistri, Fabrizio Romano reported earlier on today that he understands that United are now considering a new contract proposal to Facundo Pellistri before letting him go on loan next season. Do you think we should keep or loan Facundo Pellistri next season? So there's a few players ahead of him, Anthony, Sancho, but I think we'd be kind of foolish to let him go out on loan. He's actually really good. Give him some chances, use him as a rotation player, use him as a player to come on late substitutes for a season, and you'll probably see him develop quite well at United, and maybe even surprise a few people and earn a starting spot. Who knows? He's going to have to develop a lot first, really. He's still a young kid. But my goodness, from what we've seen from him, he seems like somebody that could absolutely develop into a top-tier talent. So I think we'd be kind of foolish to let him go out on loan. I think we should keep him. A lot of people say keep Pellistri, says Cape Cadet, keep, says Dublin Gamer. Keep Pellistri, says Duncan Belifo. Yes, loan, get a full season playing, says Slim Reaper. There's benefits to players going out on loan. Of course there is. If they're not going to play at all for you, it makes sense for them to go out on loan so they can get some experience and game time. I agree with that. But I actually think he's good enough to maybe play a bit part role for the club. Kind of like Alejandro Garnacho has been doing for us this season. Wouldn't make sense to get rid of Alejandro Garnacho out on loan because he's not playing that many games for United, but he's playing enough to still develop at the club. He's impressing enough when he does come on to deserve opportunities. I feel like Facundo's just sort of entering into that position now where he's showing the potential. He's showing good enough qualities when we do see him occasionally to deserve more opportunities. So that's why I think it makes sense to keep him. But even, it depends on the loan, doesn't it? If he's going to go somewhere and get good game time and develop, that may be better for him. But I think keeping him makes a bit of sense. Plus for the squad depth as well. Lewis Eraser says keep him there. You're on the wall about this, says Simon. Depends on the loan club. True, Baby Yoda. Lone Sancho, he melted, says Haribo. He needs to come back into it, doesn't he? He needs a bit more development. It's a shame, but he's not quite doing it, is he? Is a bit of a flop, I suppose. Considering the money, considering the expectation, he is not quite living up to it, but he can still do it. I mean, people were saying the same thing about Marcus Rashford a year ago. Now look at Marcus Rashford now. Nobody can deny he's one of the best players in the world right now based on this season's form and will probably develop and continue to impress. So you don't want to chuck these players away too soon. They've got to have good chances. And Ten Hag's only just been here a short time. He needs to work with Sancho, develop Sancho, the coaching staff, etc. And we'll see. We'll know by, I think, Christmas time whether or not Sancho is going to stay here and be a success or whether he's going to be sold off. First Class Gamer, mate. Thank you for getting in here and being a member for 30 months. Let's get a hashtag 30 in there for the lad. Appreciate you, First Class Gamer, for supporting this channel for literally nearly 3 years now. What a top lad. Let's get a hashtag 30 in there for him. Thank you very much for being a Bacon and Egg Brigade member as well, lad. He says, if you added one Harry and minus another Harry, then I think United could challenge. Very true, yeah. We need to get that Harry and the Henderson's Bigfoot guy out, which is Slabo Maguire. And then hopefully, if we could get Kane in, I do think you're right. Minus one Harry, plus another Harry, maybe even Harry Styles. Just... No, obviously not. But First Class Game, you're absolutely right, bud. Like, that's the difference. We don't need somebody like Maguire. He's surplus now. Sell him off. And then go and get something like Harry Kane. Think about the money that Slabby's on. He's on 180k, 200 grand a week, that guy. And he's shite. If somebody's prepared to come and take him from us, that's a big saving every single week. Harry Kane is going to demand a few 100,000 a week, probably at United. But when you think about what Harry Maguire's on, it's money well spent for somebody that's going to get you 20 plus goals a season proven. Thank you, First Class Gamer. I really appreciate you, man. By the way, we're hoping to do a quiz, First Class Gamer and myself and a few other people on the channel over the international break. So make sure you keep a lookout for that, guys. We will be trying to do that and give you some sort of a football quiz, which we haven't done for a while. Legend. Thank you, First Class Gamer. You've done. Hang on a second. Yes, Gung, she says, Glazer shithouses out. Absolutely. They are cancer at this club, man. Once they're out, things will get better. Yeah. Abjif says, you disrespect Slab way too much, Piggy. Maybe I disrespect him. It's all just jovial. End of the day. Do you know why I disrespect him? Because he disrespects United, mate, with his shit performances, lad, and his guff fucking slab of a head on his shoulders, mate. That's why he disrespects us. Worst United captain ever, mate. Worst United captain ever, bud. I stand by my guns on the whole Slabby Maguire hate. I don't hate him for the sake of it. I don't even hate him as a person. I hate him because he's shit at this football club. He's made a mockery of our armband for years, man. That's why I hate him. He's not United standard. It's not his fault he was signed by United. It's not his fault he cost 80 mil. It's not his fault he's given the armband. He's just shite. That's why I hate him, man, because he just shouldn't be here. I'm glad Ten Hag's realised that, man. Ten Hag has put him right down the pecking order. He's pecking no one now, is he? He's pecking himself. He's right down the pecking order, man. You know, we've got several defenders ahead of him in that position. Obviously, Varane and Martinez, but even Lindo, even Luke Shaw, even banging Luke Shaw at centre-back instead now. That's how far Slabby Maguire has fallen, and rightfully so. I've always said this about Harry Maguire. He's a good defender. He's good in the right system. He's a big slab. He's got good passing. He's got good head on him. You know what I mean. He's got a good heading ability in the air. He's got good aerial ability. His actual head's not good. But I mean, he's got good heading ability and that kind of stuff. Not going forward, but just getting the ball away. He's good in the right system. For England under Gareth Southgate, can't fault him over the last couple of major tournaments. I really cannot. He's good in that system. He's also would be good in a low block team. He'd be good in a team that sits back a bit more, plays a bit deeper, that isn't so much on the forefront. But as soon as you get caught out on a counter by the opposition, he's slow and he's a big, complete, cumbersome man who can't get back, and he's just flapping all over the place, and he looks like a fish out of water, mate. He is not good enough to be playing for a top-tier attacking side. He is good enough to be playing for Sean Dyche at Everton, in my opinion, or like a team like that. He's good enough to do that, but he's not good enough to play for Manchester United. That's my problem with him. He's a good player, but he's not the right player for Manchester United. Thank you, John Roberto. Dante says, what do we get if we sell Maguire, though? 25p and a bag of Tang Fastics? I'll take it. For Huddersfield Town, exactly Chinany relaxing. Well, no, in all fairness, right, okay, he's worth money. He's worth £30 million. He is. Guys, how much do you think Harry Maguire's worth in this summer? He's worth £30 million, in my opinion. He's an England international. He's been United's captain for a couple of seasons. You know, he's not a bad player, but he's just not the right fit for a club like United because of the reasons I mentioned. He's a good low block defender. But to the right team, he's definitely worth money. He is. 40 mil says Madhouse, 50p says Ulf. 30 mil says hey there, 75 says Haribo. Hey Bell 691, how are you been, you legend? Get in there, good to see you. 20 mil he says, let's go. 20 at most says Andy Rogers, 20 says Ilya, 25 says J Till, 20 at most says Peter van der Bert, 24 mil and 2 pints of beer says Simon, 69 pounds dude says Jarvis Cocker. Super Fat Frank says he's rubbish. 20 mil is robbery. 20 mil says Mr. Neo G. He's not rubbish though, is he? Like, I know I've slagged him off a lot, but listen to what I'm saying though. He's just not right for United. He is good for a mid-table side. Players cost a lot of money these days. If you want an England international who's first choice, or you know, along with John Stones in Southgate's England, if you want an England international who's homegrown and who is a leader. But you know what I mean? You got to pay for him. You can't just get given him. So, you know, he's going to cost money. Maybe 20 million minimum, but I think he's at least 20 million. Probably 30 million in my opinion with the current market the way it is. To the right team. To the right team. Chloe Jenkins, thank you for the £2 super chat, says Dad says Pellistri is the Uruguayan Steve Coppell. Nice one, Chloe Jenkins. Thank you for the super chat. I've actually met Steve Coppell. Do you know that? I got his autograph on a football randomly. It's a bit before my time, though, in all honesty, in regards to, like, you know, but I've actually met Steve Coppell. That's awesome. Thank you so much for getting in here, by the way. Chloe Jenkins. And shout out to Mr. Jenkins as well. Let's go. Thank you for getting your thoughts in as well, to the old man. And we've got another super chat here from Abjif, who comments, Slabby should play for United, else he won't play for England, says Abjif. Disagree now, because of what Ten Hag's done. Yes, maybe that's a factor in him getting into the England setup and you know, being a stalwart in the England setup for Southgate. But now he won't play for United so much. He's not going to really, it's not going to help him stay at United now beyond this season to get into the England team. In fact, from his point of view, he's got to go somewhere and play week in, week out and prove himself so he stays in that England setup. I mean, I believe Southgate loves Harry Maguire and will not get rid of him easily because he's proved, and actually, like I say, look, Maguire, no joke, he was one of our best players at the World Cup. He was. I don't care what anybody says. He did his role, he did his job more or less perfectly. Maybe there's one game was a little bit ropey, but other than that, man, Slabby Maguire was great for England. You know, that's not what we're talking about here. He was crap for United, though, all season. Newcastle going to buy him 100% says Chocolate Salty Balls. That could happen as well. Mr. Leo G says, no, he wasn't. Well, I mean, I watched all the games. I thought Harry Maguire did a brilliant job for England. I don't rate him. I wouldn't say that unless I honestly genuinely thought that from an impartial standpoint. I thought he was genuinely good for England. I thought he has been generally good for England all major tournaments we've seen him. Smash a 1 if you agree that Maguire was good for England in the World Cup. Smash a 2 if you think I'm talking shite. I'm not trying to defend Maguire. I can't stand the guy. He was genuinely good for England, though. I'm telling you now. In my opinion. Sarvulon, how the devil are you doing? I haven't seen you in time. I hope you're keeping well. Good day there, Sarvulon from down under. How you doing? Let's get a 29 in there for the legend that is Sarvulon. Thanks for supporting this channel for nearly 3 years as well. Let's get a 29 in there. Hope you're doing well. Good day from down under. Thank you so much for joining us. Get in there. See, lots of ones coming in the live chat. A lot of people agree. Duncan disagrees. In a 5 says Bell691. Well, that helps him. Yes, that definitely helps him. Well, in the right system, even in a 4, in a low block team, he can still be good. He's still a good, limited, no-nonsense, old-fashioned sort of centre-back. He is. And he can play the ball a bit as well. He can pass. You know? My problem with him is his judgment, his agility, his speed, his positioning. That sort of thing is what I think he falls down on. But the other aspects of a centre-back, i.e. his strength, his aerial ability, his passing out from the back, he's good. He's good. Ilya says, he was good, but international football with Premier League isn't the same. You're just saying exactly what I've been saying at United. You're just saying exactly what I've been saying. He was good for England, but he's not good for Man United. And he would be good for a low-block team in the English game. Just not a top team. Just not a top team. He is good for England, but he does not suit an attacking side. Precisely, Chloe. I'm with you 100%. Disco Dave says, have to go with Kane. Like any business, you need a team of youth and experience. We have Varane in defence, Casemiro in the middle. Kane will fit right in the top. Totally agree with you, Disco Dave. Patrick Vargas says, sell Maguire to Fulham and watch him have a super season. Precisely. The right team, he will be good. Dutch Christ says, are we in the club ruling out Greenwood ever playing for us again if we're all banging on about Kane, etc.? Yeah, I mean, more or less I am. I don't know, it depends on what the club do, doesn't it? But it's not down to us if the club decide that they want to keep this asset, and he is a great player, Greenwood, then that's one thing. But for me, I'd sooner see him not play for us and us go and buy somebody else. Maguire is good in the opposition box in nationals. Apart from that, I haven't honestly seen anything from him I like, says OHB. Simon says the Euros qualifying matches come soon, so keep him in the England team, but keep him out the red of United. Spot on, agree with you. Right, anyway, we got sidetracked on Maguire. I don't even know why we're talking about Maguire, and we have been for the last 5-10 minutes. What's that all about? I wanted to talk about the last piece of news. So Facundo, yes, keep Facundo. And then, you know, the last bit of news here, unfortunately, is to do with Garnacho, which you've probably seen today anyway. But he's injured, guys. Garnacho said on Instagram, it is difficult to put into words how I'm feeling right now. Unfortunately, I will not be able to help my team and teammates in the upcoming games in what is a very important part of the season for us at United. I'm disappointed to also miss the opportunity to be with my teammates of the Argentinian national team in what would have been a great and proud moment for me and my family. This is part of football and our profession. However, I'm already focused in my recovery. God has taught me to never give up, and I'll make sure I'm back stronger than ever. Alejandro Garnacho. Let's get a hashtag get well soon in the live chat, please, guys, for Alejandro. You know, he's a fantastic young player, isn't he? United have confirmed the news. They haven't really given us a time frame, but on their website, they have revealed that Alejandro Garnacho suffered an ankle injury at the weekend. And, but we haven't really been given a time frame as to when he's going to be back. The injury is still being assessed. All that it says on manunited.com is that the club has suggested that the ankle ligament injury is still being assessed. So a lot of people were really not happy with that challenge. Was it Walker's-Peters? I can't remember now, but from the challenge the other day that came in on Garnacho, a lot of people saying that they're not happy with that and that it's dangerous, one of those wraparound sort of scissor leg challenges, that it's dangerous. For me, I mean, I disagree. I do disagree. I think we can't just let football go soft, mate. Actually, the tackle was a good tackle. He's won the ball first. Yes, he has gone and the man's been taken out, unfortunately, afterwards. If we stop allowing those type of challenges or giving red cards out to those type of challenges, this game turns into an absolute sissy game of football. It really does. It's redonkulous. We can't do that, man. It's unfortunate, man. Similar thing happened to Eriksen. You know, it's unfortunate, but it's a risk of part of football, man. I think that you can't rule those challenges out, man. Was that tackle on Garnacho not worth a review? I don't think so, Bob Barker. You know, I'm not trying to defend the opposition here. I just think that that's a fair challenge. It's unfortunate there's a player who's been injured from it, but it's a fair challenge, man. You've got to go for that. Put Pellistri on to replace Garnacho until he recovers. Also depend on the injury and length of recovery time. There you go. Great comment as well. Yes, Pellistri, there you go, could come in. How can you allow for that and not Casemiro's? It's the disgrace as the Cape Cadet. Because the Cape Cadet, that's because by the letter of the law, Casemiro's is a studs up challenge. It's a studs up, dangerous challenge. Now, he didn't break his leg. He didn't injure the opposition. But he could have done. You know, if you go studs up into somebody's standing leg, usually doesn't end too pretty, man. You know, usually doesn't end too pretty. The scissor challenge that has been committed on Garnacho, it's not, there's actually, he's not even meant to do that, the defender. He's not meant to do that. He's gone and played the ball, and his momentum has carried him on, and Garnacho's, you know, not jumped out the way, fair play to him, and he's tried to ride the challenge, and he's obviously had it wrapped around him. It's just one of those unfortunate things. But if you start giving out red cards for those type of challenges, the game's going to soon turn into a non-contact sport, mate. That's what I don't like about it, you know? Ben Dawes says, I like your impartiality, Pig. Kate Cadet says you can't jump in and scissor tackle someone, Pig. Why not, Kate Cadet? Why not, bud? Are we playing silly girls football here, mate? What are you talking about? Why not? Explain to me why not. And plus, he's challenged the ball fair. You know, it's not like he's taken the man first. He's won the ball first. Hopefully Pellistri and Mainu will get some more minutes, says Mark Wallace. Exactly, Chloe says it's a contact game. Stop all the sissy reffing. Precisely. Studs up tackle's different. That looks bad. It's got bad potential. The only reason is that people talk about this in such a way is because Garnacho has been injured, and whoever it was that was on the receiving end of the Casemiro challenge wasn't injured. And so people are saying, well, if that's a red card, then this should be a red card. These people haven't played football. These people don't know football, if that's your attitude. Or these people want non-contact football, if you ask me. That was a perfectly fair challenge for that player. Was it Walker-Peters? I've forgotten now. Whoever it was a perfectly fair tackle to go for. It's unfortunate Garnacho got injured, but it's perfectly fair to go for, in my opinion. Simply a leg breaker, real damage, says Abjif. Yeah, you don't agree, Pig. It was a red card in Garnacho's injury. Well, that's where we disagree. I honestly don't think it's it's a wise move to rule those type of challenges out. It's a full-blooded committed challenge, but he's entitled to go for it. Betty Bojangle says, Pig speaks the truth. Do a poll, says Kate Cadet. I don't need to have a poll, mate. I don't need to run a poll about this, bud. I've got my opinion, you've got your opinion. And, we've just run a poll about who people want, Victor Osimhen or Kane. 63% want Osimhen. Means nothing to me, bud. We don't need to run a poll about this, bud. I don't think that challenge on Garnacho was a red card. You can think it was, but if you do, then game's gone soft. Exactly, Mark Wallace. It was a hard challenge, but it was not nasty. It was a hard and fair challenge, and many a time you see those challenges and the player gets up fine from it. It's just unfortunate Garnacho's had his ankle injured. Kate Cadet says the game went soft with Casemiro's fair tackle. See, I don't know. I just don't understand. Like, how can you say that one's not... How can you say that one's fair? Casemiro lunged in. He was out of control with that challenge. It was reckless. The other challenge was fair and hard, and unfortunate Garnacho got injured. But Casemiro's was actually reckless and out of control. Like, he could have broken that guy's leg. He's very lucky not to, but he could have done. That's not cool. You know what I mean? That's not cool. The difference is the other guy who's challenged Garnacho, there's no intent there to hurt Garnacho whatsoever. He's just trying to play the ball fair. Casemiro's lunged in a reckless fashion, in my opinion. Yeah, the game's been soft for years now. It's just majorly inconsistent, says OHB. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair enough. Jarvis Cocker thinks it was too hard of a tackle as well. He says Walker-Peters is responsible for his actions, intentional or not, throwing himself into the duel. Well, scissor tackling Garnacho is a dangerous move, even if he gets the ball. Well, it's unless they change the rules of the game, it's a fair tackle. And I think they shouldn't change that rule. He's entitled to play the ball. His momentum takes his legs around the player. You know, that's it. He's played the ball first. Jonathan says the game is already soft, Pig. I've seen people winning the ball but foul because of the training leg. His foot bounced off of the ball. Yes, it did, Messi. It wasn't in control, was it? Booty says Casemiro red, but also a pen. VAR are biased against us. Handball was 100% a pen. I agree with both of you, Vutinator and Ed. The penalty was definitely a pen in that game. Yeah, Raptor says Casemiro's tackle getting a red isn't evidence that the game's gone soft. The tackle was reckless and players like Casemiro have been getting away with murder. Dude, I agree with you, Raptor. Look, I don't want to see Casemiro banned for 4 games. I don't want him sent off and us not win the game. It was reckless. It was dangerous. He could have broken the opposition's leg. Just because the other guy got up and is fine doesn't excuse the recklessness or the fact that the challenge was out of control. It's 2 totally different things. Yes, the other one's an injury tackle, but it's fair and it's hard and it's fair. Casemiro's is dangerous and reckless, even though the guy got up and walked fine. Doesn't matter to me. One's a red, the other's not. Anyway, right, guys, we're going to wrap this video up, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Please do come back. Thank you, Bendor. You know, that's it. That's just football, man. Football should be a hard and fair game. It should be a physical game. Sometimes players are going to get injured, but you shouldn't make it a non-contact sport. You should play the ball, especially like in a 50-50 challenge, or you should play the ball. If you play the ball and your studs are down, it's a fair tackle as far as I'm concerned, especially if you win the ball first. You know, sometimes you play the ball and you don't hit the ball and you hit the man. That's a foul. But what that player did on Garnacho was not a foul, in my opinion. As much as it's bad that Garnacho's injured, he's won the ball. He's entitled to play the ball. He's gone in hard but fair. That's football. Thank you, Ben. Right, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for getting in here. Please do come back after this video is finished and comment on anything we've discussed in regards to Ten Hag wanting or getting Kane or Osimhen in the summer or whatever we said. And come back and discuss, you know, this incident, because this seems a hot talking point here. You know, everybody's got a different opinion in the live chat. That's what's so interesting about football. I don't want football to become any more soft than it already is. I already think it's so soft. I want to go back to the 90s when you can actually slide tackle someone. You know, that's what I want to do. But football, times do change. Football is becoming a non-contact sport, I suppose. But I don't want it to be. I want it to be a fair and hard, competitive sport. Physical sport. That's what I want it to be. Thank you, Slim Reaper. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, nice one. So soft, he's probably like my school teacher goalkeeper who let all the shots in the net because he was scared of being hit by the ball. Casemiro's was a yellow at worst, says Dutch Christ. A few years ago it was a yellow. Nowadays it's just so soft, man. Exactly, Kate Cadet says, listen, Casemiro's a standard tackle in the 90s. Well, it's probably a yellow card in the 90s because it is a bit reckless and stuff. You know, it is. And it's a bit out of control. But it's not a red card in the 90s. I'm with you. But it's probably still a foul in the 90s, though, just. You know, but that's the difference. It has changed. Maybe you'll see these scissor tackles being, discussed at the end of the season, and maybe they'll change the rules. But it would be it'd be a sad thing, I think, if that does happen. Because, it was a hard and fair tackle, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, thanks for hitting the likes. We've got 130 likes. Thanks for everyone who smashed the like button. Please do hit the thumbs up button before you go if you haven't done. Help us out. And also subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. We'll keep you up to date with the latest upcoming Man United news in a no bullshit, no clickbait way. We'll just be discussing the latest goings on as and when it happens. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so we'll be doing a cheeky little preview for the game on Thursday against Real Betis with the team news and that kind of stuff. So please do come and join us. You can come back after this video is finished and get your thoughts and opinions in, as I say, about anything we've said. Make sure you also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. I'm actually going to start doing some Insta Lives soon. I've never gone live on Instagram. I'm going to start doing some Insta Lives. So go and follow us on Instagram at Flying Pig United if you want to get involved in some of the Insta Lives as well. I feel like I need to branch out. But anyway, we're going to try and do that sometime. So go and give us a follow. And also TikTok, Twitch, all those places. Go and give us a follow. All the same, Flying Pig United. Thank you, Hoopman, Cake Cadet, Madhouse, Vutinator, Simon, Danny Marsh, Jonathan, Ben, Chillingly Relaxing, and everybody else as well. Thank you so much for getting in here and having your say. Thanks for watching, guys. That's the end of the show. You've been watching The Pig on Flying Pig United. Appreciate you all getting your opinions in here. That's the beauty of this game and this community. Not everyone's going to have the same way of thinking. Clearly, a lot of us are split on Kane and Osimhen. Clearly, a lot of us are split on whether that challenge on Garnacho was dangerous or a red card or not. That's football for you, man. And we've all got our opinions. We respect everyone's opinions around here. And thanks for getting your opinion in. Good night, everyone. See you soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And remember, when the seagulls follow the troll, this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.